Welcome to Taste China, Learn English. Let's start by having you close your eyes for just a second.
Always a good way to start.
Right. So imagine you're walking down a brightly lit street in a really busy night market. You can smell roasted spices in the cool evening air,
Oh, I can picture it perfectly.
and you hear that deep rhythmic bubbling of hot oil in a massive ironwork. And then right after that, you hear a loud, satisfying snap.
Ah, the best sound.
Exactly. The sound of someone taking their very first bite into a fresh, steaming piece of street-style fried chicken.
It's mouth-watering just thinking about it.
It really is. So we're going to use that incredible image and those amazing sounds to guide our mission for this deep dive today. We are exploring the science of what makes fried chicken so completely perfect.
Yes. And along the way, we're going to learn some fantastic English vocabulary.
Which is the whole point of our show.
Right. It's actually the perfect subject for a language journey because our goal is to help you, the listener, learn and practice your English.
And because of that, we're going to take our time today.
Exactly. We're going to speak at a very relaxed, measured pace. I mean, this isn't some rushed classroom lecture.
No, not at all.
It's just an easy conversation with friends. We want to take the time to really taste the words, understand the cooking science, and just enjoy the details without feeling hurried.
I love that approach. There is absolutely no rush.
So, where do we start?
Well, let's start with the very first thing we notice when we bite into that street food. Before we even register the flavor, we experience the chicken through sound.
That's very true. Sound is like the brain's first clue that we're eating something amazing.
Right. And in our sources today, they use two specific words to describe the hard, dry outside layer of the chicken.
Oh, I know these.
Yeah, those words are crispy and crunchy.
Crispy and crunchy.
Now, to a lot of people learning English, those two words might seem like, well, exactly the same thing.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they are often used interchangeably in casual conversation.
Yeah, people mix them up all the time.
But in the culinary world, and especially in our Guide to Perfect Chicken, there's a very physical structural difference between them.
Okay, let's break that down.
Sure. Let's look at the word crispy first.
Crispy.
Right. When we say a food is crispy, we're talking about an outside layer that is extremely thin, light, and fragile.
Fragile meaning it breaks easily.
Exactly. It shatters almost like delicate glass when your teeth hit it.
Oh, that makes me think of like biting into a very delicate, thin potato chip.
Yes, perfect example.
It makes a sharp, high-pitched sound in your head, but it takes almost zero physical effort from your jaw to break through it.
Right, it just snaps and dissolves. A thin potato chip captures that concept perfectly.
It's a fast, high-frequency sound.
Now contrast that with the word crunchy.
Crunchy.
When a food is crunchy, the outside layer is substantially thicker. It's heavier.
So it has more density.
Yeah, density is a great word for it. The sound it makes when you bite down is much louder, deeper, and slower.
Because it requires more work.
Exactly. It requires real mechanical effort from your teeth.
So if crispy is that thin potato chip, then crunchy is more like,
Like what?
well, maybe like the heavy, loud sound of stepping on dry autumn leaves with thick boots.
Oh, wow. Yes. That is a brilliant way to explain it.
Right, because you really have to put your weight into it to crush those leaves, and it makes a loud, satisfying noise.
And when you step on those leaves, you actually feel the resistance before the break.
Yes, you feel the pushback.
That's exactly how a crunchy batter feels in your mouth. Now, the street vendors we're studying today, they don't just settle for one or the other.
They want both.
They want both. They want a crust that is thick enough to be crunchy, but with an outer surface that shatters into a million crispy pieces.
That sounds impossible. How do they do that?
Well, to achieve this, they use a cooking technique called double frying.
Double frying.
As the name suggests, they fry the chicken in hot oil, take it out, let it rest, and then, they fry it a second time.
See, I always assumed double frying would just burn the chicken
A lot of people think that.
or make it incredibly greasy. But our guide says it actually does the exact opposite.
It really does. It's the secret to making it light and extra crispy.
But how? I mean, how does dunking something in oil twice actually make it drier?
We have to look at the physics of what happens inside that work. Let's slow down and really look at this. The enemy of crispy food is water.
Water. Right.
And chicken naturally contains a high amount of water, or as we call it in cooking, moisture.
Moisture, okay.
So when you drop raw chicken into boiling oil for the very first time, the heat starts moving that moisture
Moving it where?
from the center of the meat outwards toward the surface.
Oh.
Now, if you only fry it once and take it out, that water is still trapped in the crust.
And that's bad.
Very bad. The crust becomes wet and soft.
So the first fry is really just about cooking the raw meat and getting the moisture moving
Precisely. And this is where the resting period comes in.
when they take it out of the wok.
Right. When they take the chicken out of the oil to rest, the water actually continues to migrate to the surface.
Interesting.
Then comes the second fry, and this time the oil is even hotter.
So what happens when it hits that hotter oil?
When that moisture-heavy crust hits the extreme heat, the water inside instantly turns into steam.
Wow, instantly.
Yeah. And steam expands rapidly. It violently forces its way out of the batter,
So it's pushing outward.
escaping into the oil as bubbles. Exactly.
Wait, so all those hundreds of bubbles we see in the hot wok,
Yeah,
that's not the oil boiling, that's the water escaping the chicken as steam.
that's right.
I never knew that.
Most people don't. Oil boils at a much, much higher temperature. Those bubbles are pure moisture leaving the chicken.
That is so cool.
And here's the magic part. As that steam forcefully pushes its way out of the thick batter, it leaves something behind.
What does it leave?
Microscopic hollow air pockets.
Really?
It's like thousands of tiny empty caves baked right into the crust.
Oh, I see where this is going.
So when you bite down, it's those empty air pockets collapsing that create that incredible, shattering, crispy texture.
That's fascinating. The hot oil is literally carving out hollow spaces in the crust by forcing the water away.
Exactly.
I just love how we're building this picture. I mean, we understand the acoustic difference between crispy and crunchy now.
The sound difference.
Right. And we know how the heat creates those shattered air pockets.
Right.
But what exactly is the vendor frying?
What do you mean?
Well, the chicken skin alone isn't going to give us that heavy crunch. We need to understand how that outside layer is actually built and flavored.
Oh, I see. Yes, building the perfect crust is an art form.
What do the sources say about that?
The guide outlines 2 different methods vendors use to create that outer shell before it ever touches the oil.
And they use 2 specific English words for this.
Yes, the words are breading and batter.
Let's make sure our listeners have a clear picture of those terms.
Good idea.
Breading typically refers to rolling the chicken pieces in a dry powder.
Like seasoned flour or cornstarch?
Exactly, until it's completely covered. So breading is a dry process.
Right.
Batter, on the other hand, is a wet mixture.
A liquid?
Yeah, the cook mixes flour with a liquid like water, milk, or egg to create a thick, sticky paste.
So the chicken is dipped into this wet pool of batter before it goes into the wok.
That makes sense. Dry breading versus wet batter.
Both methods create a unique texture. But regardless of whether they use a dry breading or a wet batter, the cook must include one crucial thing.
Seasonings.
Seasoning. Yes, seasoning is a fantastic vocabulary word for everyday life.
It really is. It refers to any salt, herbs, or spices added to food, specifically to enhance and elevate the flavor.
Because without seasoning, even the crispiest chicken is just bland, cooked flour.
Nobody wants that.
No, definitely not.
Well, the sources highlight a very famous seasoning blend used extensively in Asian street food.
5-spice powder.
Yes, it's this complex magical blend of cinnamon, cloves, fennel, star anise, and Sichuan peppercorns,
It's amazing. It's designed to hit multiple parts of your tongue simultaneously.
giving you sweet, sour, bitter, spicy, and salty flavors all in one bite.
They also mention the use of cayenne pepper, right?
Yes, they do. Cayenne pepper is a bright red chili powder, and the guide notes that cayenne pepper gives the chicken a spicy and zesty kick.
Zesty is a wonderful, highly descriptive English word.
Let's focus on that for a second. Zesty.
If a flavor is zesty, it means it's bright, exciting, and full of energy.
It's the kind of flavor that instantly wakes up your mouth.
Like a squeeze of fresh lemon is zesty.
Or a sharp pinch of cayenne pepper provides a zesty heat that cuts right through the heavy oil.
Perfectly said.
But wait, I'm thinking about the physics we just talked about.
Uh-oh.
So the hot oil turns the water into steam, right? And pushes it out of the batter to make those crispy air pockets.
Right.
That outside layer becomes a hard, dry shield. But if the meat inside the shield also loses all of its water.
Ah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, if the center of the chicken dries out completely, does all that wonderful zesty seasoning even matter?
It absolutely doesn't matter.
I knew it.
If the inside of the chicken is dry and stringy, the entire eating experience is just ruined.
It's the worst.
This is the great challenge of frying, and it brings us to another essential pair of vocabulary words.
Who are they?
The meat inside the crust must remain succulent.
Succulent. That's a rich, beautiful word just to say out loud.
Succulent. It really is.
What does it mean exactly?
When we describe meat as succulent, we mean it is bursting with natural juices. It's moist, soft, and deeply flavorful.
And we often use the word tender alongside it, right?
Yes. Tender describes how easily the meat pulls apart when you bite it.
You know, it's almost like the double fried crust needs to act like a thermos.
It's a thermos.
Yeah, a thermos keeps your hot coffee trapped inside so it doesn't escape.
Oh, I like that.
The perfect crunchy batter is a thermos for the chicken. It locks all the heat and the natural juices inside the meat while the outside stays completely dry.
The thermos is a brilliant way to visualize it for our listeners. The outside must be dehydrated and the inside must be hydrated.
Exactly.
But if the vendor miscalculates the temperature of the oil or leaves the chicken in the wok for just a few minutes too long.
The heat breaches the thermos.
Yes. The moisture from the meat escapes into the oil. The guide refers to this mistake as the chicken being overcooked.
And when chicken is overcooked, it becomes tough.
Yes, tough. Tough is the exact opposite of tender.
Tough meat is hard, dry, and requires a lot of tiring jaw movement to chew and swallow.
It feels like chewing on thick fabric.
Ugh, yes. So the true skill of the street vendor is walking that culinary tightrope.
Using extreme heat to shatter the outside into a crispy shell while preserving the succulent, tender juices on the inside.
Wow. This conversation is genuinely making me hungry.
Me too.
Okay, well, let's assume our street vendor is an absolute master. We have our perfectly seasoned double-fried crust with its hollow air pockets.
Sounds perfect.
And we have our succulent tender meat locked safely inside our batter thermos.
So what's left?
The final step for many iconic Asian street-style fried chicken dishes is the sauce.
Oh, the sauces. Sauces add an entirely new dimension of soul and personality to the dish.
They really do. And our sources specifically highlight a few very popular flavor profiles found in night markets.
Yes. The guide specifically mentions a Korean-style garlic soy sauce, and it uses the word tangy to describe the flavor.
Tangy. That is an excellent descriptive word for our English learners.
It is. Tangy means a flavor that is strong, sharp, and usually has an underlying sour note to it.
Like vinegar or citrus.
Exactly. It's the kind of flavor that makes the sides of your tongue tingle and causes your mouth to water immediately.
So good. And along with the tangy soy, the guide mentions a rich salted egg yolk topping.
Oh, I love that one.
And it categorizes that flavor as savory.
Savory, that's one of the most important English words for describing food.
Because it's the opposite of sweet, right?
Right. It refers to a flavor that is deeply salty, rich, or spicy, as opposed to being sweet.
So roasted garlic, soy sauce, and warm chicken broth are all savory flavors.
They provide a comforting, heavy richness.
Okay, I love tangy garlic and savory salted egg yolk.
Mm.
But I have to push back here
Pushback. Why?
because this makes absolutely no logical sense to me.
What doesn't make sense?
We just spent all this time breaking down the physics of double frying. We talked about how the vendor violently forces the moisture out of the batter to create a dry, hard, shattered glass crust.
Yes, we did.
So, isn't pouring a liquid wet sauce directly onto that crust going to instantly ruin all that hard work?
You've identified the greatest paradox and really the greatest danger in making wet-style street chicken.
I mean, you're just putting water back on it.
You're talking about the looming threat of the chicken becoming soggy.
Soggy, yes, that is a terrible feeling.
Soggy is the exact enemy of crispy.
So what does it mean exactly?
It means something is unpleasantly heavy, wet, and soft because it has absorbed too much liquid.
Oh, like if you pour milk over a bowl of crunchy cereal and just leave it sitting on the table for 20 minutes.
Yes, it turns into a sad, soggy paste.
Yuck. Yeah.
Exactly. And nobody stands in line at a night market for a soggy piece of chicken.
Definitely not.
So your question gets to the very heart of the technique. How do they apply a wet sauce without destroying the crunchy thermos?
Right. Because the liquid should just soak straight into those empty air pockets we talked about.
Yeah.
How do they prevent that?
They prevent it through a highly skilled technique called coating.
Coating.
And it relies entirely on speed and sauce thickness.
Speed and thickness.
Yeah. The vendor doesn't drop the chicken into a deep pool of sauce to let it swim.
Okay.
Instead, they use a thick, syrupy sauce. It's often reduced in a hot pan, so there's very little actual water left in it.
That makes sense.
Then they throw the freshly fried, piping hot chicken into the wok, toss it rapidly a few times to cover the surface, and get it right out.
Ah, so it's a quick hot toss?
Yeah.
It's not a long bath.
Exactly. Because the double fried crust is so structurally dense, and because the chicken is still radiating immense heat.
The thick sauce literally cooks onto the very outer surface.
Yes, it coats the chicken like a shiny glaze, but it does not have the time or the thin, watery consistency needed to penetrate the crust and soak into the interior.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
The heat of the chicken almost acts like a shield against the wetness of the sauce.
And when it's done correctly, that quick coating delivers an immediate blast of tangy or savory flavor to your tongue.
But the moment your teeth break through that glaze, you still hear that loud, heavy crunch.
It is the ultimate culinary achievement. The guide perfectly captures this feeling, describing it as a mouth-watering contrast of hot, oily, salty, and sweet.
Mouth-watering. We've used that phrase a few times today, and it's a great literal idiom for our learners.
It really is.
It means food that looks, smells, or sounds so impossibly delicious that your salivary glands literally start producing water.
Your body is actually preparing to eat it.
Yes. And contrast is the key word there.
Contrast
means taking two very different, often opposing things and putting them right next to each other to highlight their differences.
Like the wet, sticky glaze against the dry, shattered crust.
Or the zesty, fiery spice against the rich, sweet sugar.
It's the contrast that prevents the palate from getting bored. It's what makes the food unforgettable, bite after bite.
Well, this has been such a deeply rewarding exploration of both cooking and language.
It really has.
Now, to make sure you, our listener, can really hold on to the English vocabulary from today's delicious deep dive, we're going to do a slow, deliberate review.
A review of the most important terms we've discussed.
We like to call this our crispy word bank.
Reviewing vocabulary in context is essential.
Definitely.
Hearing the words isolated and clearly visualizing their definitions based on the science we just learned will help lock them permanently into your memory.
So we're going to take turns. I will say the vocabulary word slowly and clearly.
And I will provide the definition and a brief example.
Wherever you are listening right now, whether you're walking, commuting, or just relaxing at home, I highly encourage you to repeat the word out loud after I say it.
Feeling the shape of the word in your mouth is truly the best way to practice.
Ready? Let's begin. The first word is crispy.
Crispy. Pleasantly thin, light, and easily broken. For example, the delicate, crispy skin of double-fried chicken, or a perfectly thin potato chip that shatters in your mouth.
Great. Our second word, describing the inside of the meat, succulent.
Succulent, full of natural juices, deeply moist and tasty. For example, a thick, succulent piece of chicken that hasn't been overcooked, acting like a thermos full of rich flavor.
The third word, crucial for flavor, seasoning.
Seasoning. Any salt, herbs, or spices added to food specifically to enhance and elevate its natural flavor. For example, dusting the chicken with 5-spice powder or a zesty pinch of cayenne pepper.
Our fourth word, describing a sharp flavor profile,
Tangy.
tangy, a strong, sharp flavor that usually has an underlying sour note. For example, a tangy Korean garlic soy sauce that makes your mouth water immediately. And our final word, the greatest enemy of fried food, soggy.
Soggy. Unpleasantly wet, heavy, and soft due to absorbing too much liquid. For example, a crunchy crust that has turned completely soggy because it was soaked in watery sauce for too long.
Excellent. I genuinely hope you practice saying those out loud.
It really helps.
The best way to truly master these words is to use them in your daily life. The next time you sit down to eat a meal, try to describe your food using terms like succulent, zesty, or savory.
If we step back and connect all these scientific details and vocabulary words to the bigger picture, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder.
What's that?
We very often think of a great meal simply in terms of one dominant good flavor.
Sure.
But a perfect piece of street-style fried chicken reveals that true culinary greatness is actually a masterclass in opposites.
Opposites.
It is a profound lesson in physical and chemical balance.
I see what you mean.
So the next time you eat your favorite street food, whether it's fried chicken, a warm pastry, or a bowl of spicy noodles, take a quiet moment before you swallow.
Just pause for a second.
Right. Pay deep attention to what is happening in your mouth. Ask yourself, are you experiencing the physical contrast of a crunchy, shattered exterior protecting a succulent, tender interior?
Or are you tasting the heavy richness of hot oil, perfectly balanced against the sharp bite of a tangy sweet sauce?
Exactly. Noticing these hidden contrasts, these delicate balances of opposites, will completely change the way you experience and appreciate food forever.
What a beautiful, mindful way to look at something we eat every day. It transforms a simple, quick snack into a complex experience of textures and contrasts.
It really does.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this tasty language journey today
We sincerely hope you learned some wonderful new vocabulary.
and understood the fascinating physics hiding inside a hot wok and maybe even got a little bit hungry along the way.
I know I did.
Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.